Welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you info from the Police Department, Fire Department, Sacramento, today's talking points, and more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Wicknick. Thanks for joining us for the news. In good news from the Ridgecrest Police Department, if you remember last week we reported a robbery at the East Ridge Market on East Ridgecrest Boulevard. Well, we've received the following press release. On April 28, 2015, Detectives Cushman and Tucker received additional information regarding the robbery that took place on April 19, 2015 at the East Ridge Market. Following up on that information, Detectives Cushman and Tucker contacted Albert Hawkins at 528 North Gold Canyon Drive. Hawkins agreed to come down to the police department where he was interviewed by Detective Cushman. After a lengthy interview, Albert Hawkins, 21, admitted to being the subject who jumped over the counter and wrestled with the store clerk. Hawkins also identified two other subjects who assisted in the robbery. With that information and assistance from patrol officers, Detective Cushman and Tucker contacted the involved juvenile and 23-year-old Andrew Johnson. After interviews, both Johnson and the involved juvenile admitted to being participants in the robbery. Detectives also recovered evidence and items associated to the crime. Albert Hawkins and Andrew Johnson were transported to the Kern County Sheriff's Department jail facility in Ridgecrest, where Hawkins and Johnson were booked and incarcerated on $60,000 bail. The involved juvenile was transported to Kern County Juvenile Hall in Bakersfield. All three were charged with PC 212, robbery, and PC 182, conspiracy. The Ridgecrest Police Department would like to thank all the citizens of our community and loyal Facebook friends for their support and positive comments. Good job, police. In Kern County Fire News, at 9:30 p.m. last night, a sheriff deputy discovered a 1-acre fire 1.5 miles into the canyon between Highway 178 and the Kern River. Thanks to the quick response from 3 engines, 3 patrols, and the Rio Bravo hotshots, they were able to control the fire within 20 minutes. They remained on scene until 1 a.m. to ensure that the fire was completely extinguished. The fire is under investigation. The California Highway Patrol shut down the eastbound lane and remained on the scene throughout the incident. Congressman Kevin McCarthy today announces the recipient of the 23rd Congressional District of California 2015 Merit Award for students in our East Kern and Antelope Valley communities. The 23rd Congressional District of California Award was created to recognize outstanding high school students who have demonstrated exemplary school citizenship, volunteerism, community service, involvement in extracurricular activities, leadership skills, and have earned a GPA of 3.5 or higher. Earlier this year, high school principals were invited to select one outstanding graduating senior per school to receive the 23rd Congressional District of California 2015 Merit Award. Congressman McCarthy made the following statement on the announcement of the awards. The Merit Award recognizes those that have strived and excelled within our education system and our communities. It not only embodies superior academic achievement, it recognizes positive values students and educators espouse every day. This presentation ceremony provides our community the opportunity to honor this year's recipients that demonstrate this excellence and inspire the continued advancement of community endeavors and academic success. The award will be presented May 5, 2015 from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Antelope Valley Union High School District Office in the boardroom, 44811 North Sierra Highway, Lancaster, California. Our local student recipient is Ms. Joelle Steichen from Burroughs High School. He will also be honoring inspiring local educators chosen by each student. Our local educator recipient is Mr. Chris Osterman from Burroughs High School. In Sacramento news, there is a Valley Fever vaccine research bill moving forward. Today, Senator Gene Fuller, Republican, presented Senate Bill 115 requesting $1 million to fund Valley Fever vaccine research at the Department of Public Health. Coccionitis, a fungus or found in the soil of dry, low rainfall areas. Valley fever is caused by air or soil disturbance of coccionitis fungi, which live and breed within the soil. That's a hard word to say. When the dust containing the coccionitis spores is breathed in, the fungus attacks the respiratory system. Valley fever produces flu-like symptoms including cough, fever, headaches, chills, sweats, chest pain, and fatigue. Other symptoms that may occur include rashes on lower legs, and joint pain similar to arthritis. These symptoms may develop between 7 to 20 days after the fungal spores have entered the body. The number of valley fever infections is growing at an alarming rate, said Fuller. This year, investment will provide a real commitment to valley fever research and the discovery of a cure. Over the last 13 years, California has seen an increase of valley fever case counts from over 700 to over 5,600 cases. Of these cases, nearly 75% of the valley fever patients miss work or school because of their illness, and over 40% require hospitalization. In 2009, the Budget Act included an ongoing appropriation of $1 million to continue research activities earmarked toward the development of a vaccine. Funding was subsequently discontinued in 2010. Senate Bill 115 passed the Senate Committee on Health 9-0.
From the Burroughs High School TV studio, I'm Lindsay Hill with the Burroughs Video Bits for Thursday, April 30th, 2015. Here's a quick look at how the athletes of the school are doing from the burrowsathletics.org website. Prom was last Saturday and it went off without a hitch. The Great Gatsby theme perfectly complemented the beautiful newly crowned prom king and queen, Michael Hanafin and Tossie Ramone. ASB voting is over and our new president for 2016 has been decided. Congratulations to Bailey Hanafin. Hey seniors, Magic Mountain Grad Night ticket sales will begin on Monday, May 4th. The cost is $40 and permission slips must be turned in along with your payment. Permission slips were handed out in government and economics classes. Additional copies are available with your teacher or in the Sherman Shack. If you're having trouble with the payment, please contact either Miss Cope or Miss Larson for more information. Sign-ups for buses will be done at the time payments are made. Please turn in your permission slip and payment to Mrs. Sween in the Sherman Shack before school, during lunch, or after school only. No exceptions. Deadline to purchase tickets will be Friday, May 8th. The Ledbetter Scholarship is now available. Seniors interested in applying or learning about other scholarship opportunities, please stop by the Counseling Center. If you're interested in reading Book Club's last book of the year, please see Miss Poole in room I-4 for more details. If you would like to go on the trip to the Long Beach Gay Pride Parade or join in any sort of discussions about current events regarding equal rights, come to the GSA meetings on Mondays in room I-4 at lunch. The weather of the week is in Arlington, Texas, a part of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. They've been having crazy weather lately with thunderstorms and tornadoes all over the place. Lots of power outages and power companies with the power down, people with flooding, just crazy, crazy stuff. Did you know that odontophobia is the fear of teeth? Remember, burrows don't burrow. Have an extraordinary rest of the week. For the Burroughs High School TV broadcast of Ridgecrest, California, I'm Lindsay Hill.
Stay tuned for today's KZGN Talking Points editorial right after the break. It's now time for the 38th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. The topic of today's editorial is, do you fear the direction our country is heading, or do you believe we're going in the right direction, and why? But first, comments received on the KZGN discussion group about my last editorial. What is causing all these incidents with police departments? Harry wrote, I think you briefly touched on the real reason there is a growing lack of respect for law enforcement. it is being taught in our schools? Is it being taught to kids by their parents? This is a growing problem all across the U.S. Respect for authority is biblical principle. This is what happens when people X out God. I believe this is just the tip of the iceberg. Things are going to get much worse. Well, thanks for your comments, Harry. And I agree with you. In watching what is happening in Baltimore and the tolerant approach to crime shown by the mayor there, I am also scared where we are headed. I would add that even last night I heard some news pundits asking the same questions I posed in the last editorial. Now today's editorial, and Harry's comment leads to today's editorial, titled, "Do you fear the direction our country is heading, or do you believe we are going in the right direction, and why?" Well, I bet we can give very impassioned answers to this question, and where you stand in the conservative versus liberal progressive ideology will fuel your answer. During the last news coverage last night on the Baltimore problem, they were interviewing an African American community activist. He was being asked if he agreed with the violent acts taking place in Baltimore. He kept answering that we need to understand what is driving the violence. Instead of answering whether he agreed with it, his evasive answer and lack of criticism of the violence speaks loud and clear. He saw the violence as a reaction to past wrongs he believed were directed at his people. And due to that past injustice, the violence can be expected. Well, that says a lot. This goes to the root of the problem. I think we can just size it up by saying some people are just mad, period. And what they are mad about does vary from person to person. But where do they get this anger at such a young age? As many reporters were saying, that a lot of the violence was done by young high school-aged kids. These are kids that haven't even really been subjected to the real world yet, but they are being taught this anger at a real young age. Who's teaching them that anger? Parents? School teachers? Peers? Who else would teach this anger? I don't believe we are born with prejudice or anger towards any particular group of people. We learn it somewhere, though. Now, in trying to deal with the actual question of this editorial, do you fear the direction our country is heading, or do you believe we are going the right direction, and why? I do think things are not being taught to our kids as they were when I was in school. Every generation has tried to make their generation better than the last, but in so doing, we have gone too far. Have we tried to make it too easy for the next generations? There's a lot to be said for the philosophy, you can't appreciate what you have unless you had to work for it. Well, as far as the actual question, I think there are a lot of areas where we are going the wrong direction. There's a segment of our population that feels government can fix all our social problems, and another segment that thinks government should stay out of our social lives completely. I don't agree with the government cure-all, but as far as the belief that government should stay out of our lives completely, that would lead to anarchy. We are a country of laws. Laws written to try and make sure everyone is treated fairly and equally. Laws set a standard of how society believes we need to act. Laws that allow freedom to the extent where my freedom does not trump your same freedom. In school and home, we were taught that laws were to be followed, that if you violate the law, you can and will be punished. We were not taught that we need to be angry because of what might have happened to a group of people in the past. Being of German, Polish, and Irish backgrounds, there were times where these people were treated very badly by our own government. But when I was growing up, I was not taught to hate or distrust the government or hate another segment of the population for past wrongs. As an example, my one grandfather I was close to was German. He and my grandmother spoke German and little English. But I was told that when they came to the United States, my grandfather made a dictate. No German was to be spoken in an American household. He decreed from that day forward only English would be spoken. He further decreed that if we are going to live in America, we have to learn and live by American rules and laws. The past is in the past. We should remember and cherish the past, but we live today and tomorrow as Americans. So are parents today offering that same teaching? The past is past. Don't live in the past. This is a country of opportunity. This is a country of laws that must be followed. If there is a law that you feel unjust, then you work peacefully to change the law. You don't go out into the streets and riot, steal, and burn down businesses. Hurting these businesses where we live every day takes away opportunities for the future. Some blame the riots on lack of jobs. Does looting and burning down businesses that provide the jobs make any sense? Are kids being taught to riot whenever you are mad about something? Are kids being taught that one of our segment of population is evil and can't be trusted? Are kids being taught that the laws are to be followed? Not just the laws you agree with, all the laws. Is it okay to steal from a business? Are kids taught to respect their elders? I remember at a very young age, my father taught me the chain of command in the family. If I was in the room with him, he was boss. He also taught me when Grandma or Grandpa came into the room, now they were the boss. They were to be listened to and respected. I was also warned that if Mom told me to do something, I better do it. I was also taught that when a police officer wanted to talk to me, that I was to stop and answer respectfully, not to run away. That to run away was a sign of a criminal. I was taught to respect my elders no matter who they were. You don't have to agree with everyone, but treat them with the same respect you would expect to receive from another. Again, I'll ask, do you think our country is going in the right direction or wrong direction? I believe it is following the direction of our teaching as young people. Parents and teachers must step up and teach the basics. Teach right and wrong. Teach philosophies that encourage children, not make them angry. Teach them to respect the law. Don't let gangs or peers teach them. Parents should take responsibility for raising hard-working kids. I believe this long editorial is leading to a simple conclusion. A conclusion that we have all heard many times. A conclusion that is the soul of how we affect the direction of our country, our lives, and our place in the world. In conclusion, remember these simple words. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If people followed those simple words, there would be no rioting in the streets. I'm Tom Wicknick, and that's what I think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email in to info@kzgn.net. Stay tuned for sports and weather when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. Regionally, the National Weather Service is forecasting elevated fire weather conditions for portions of the northern plains. Red flag warnings are in effect for parts of the Dakotas and into Minnesota. Any fires that start in this area could spread quickly and out of control. Temps across the region. The East Coast today came in the 50s to 60 degrees. The central states were in the low to upper 60s, and along the west coastline today was in the 60s to 70s. For us locally here in the IWV, tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 63, south wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. Friday, mostly sunny with a high near 93, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour with gusts as high as 15. Friday night will be partly cloudy with a low around 60, south wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. Saturday will be sunny with a high near 90, southwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday night will be mostly clear with a low around 58, southwest wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And on Sunday, we begin cooling off a little bit. It will be mostly sunny with a high near 88, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 56, west wind 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts as high as 20. And on Monday, it will be sunny with a high near 86, northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. That is your KZGN weather forecast for April 30th, 2015. And with all the hot temperatures, please drink plenty of fluids and watch out for children, pets, and the elderly. Now back to Tom with the rest of your KZGN news.
Thanks, Keith. Let's go to Tom Heck for the sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday afternoon to everybody. Let's start with local sports now. It'll be Burroughs baseball today. They will be on the road. Now, the Burroughs baseball team's off to a tremendous start. They're 4-1 in league play. They had a 1-0 win over Apple Valley on Tuesday, that game at Burroughs, and now they'll play Apple Valley today at Apple Valley. Meanwhile, the softball team, they will take on Hesperia today, JV and varsity. So those teams a couple weeks out from the playoffs. Burroughs baseball right now tied for first place. Off to a great start. John Bradley doing a good job over there. All right, 5th grade basketball league last night. Now the 5th grade basketball league is winding down their season. They'll have one more regular game, and that'll be Monday night. Then they'll have their tournament the following weekend on Friday and Saturday at Saracoso. That tournament hosted by St. Anne's. Now let's take a look at last night's winners. Inyo Kern girls played very well last night and had a win over Charter. Charter boys returned the favor. They defeated Inyo Kern. The Gateway boys were a winner last night, along with the Fowler girls defeating Las Flores. It was also the Las Flores boys defeating Fowler in a pretty close game last night. In a 2-point win, Richmond defeated Pierce 10-8, and then Pierce defeated Richmond. Now again, that'll be Monday night starting at 4:30. Games go till 8:15, and then the tournament. Come on out and support the local elementary schools. All the elementary schools in the Ridgecrest area have a 5th grade team along with the Inyo Kern School. Okay, NBA real quick. Portland, they're out. They lost to Memphis last night. What a great start Portland had, but injuries really hurt them this season, especially down the stretch. They lose the series 4-1. That game played in Memphis. Memphis did not have Mike Conley last night. The Hawks won at Atlanta. That's the number 1 versus the number 8 seed. They defeated Brooklyn. They now have a 3-2 advantage. Game number 6 will be Friday night at Brooklyn. Okay, tonight, Game 6, Clippers at San Antonio. The Clippers are down 3-2. It's win or go home tonight. If they can win tonight, they'll be back at home on Saturday at Staples for Game 7. Let's hope that happens. All right, the Angels on the road last night. They defeat Oakland. The Angels right now are 2 games under 500. The 2 teams play tonight again in the Bay Area. The Dodgers beat San Francisco. They take 2 or 3 from the Giants. Yesterday, an empty Camden Yards Park in Baltimore because of all the violence going on there. They finally played after 2 nights of not being able to get on the field. Last night, Baltimore beat Chicago 7-3. Now, what made that interesting was they had no fans there. One of the few times ever you'll see something like that. Okay, NFL draft is tonight. 2 changes that we'll see this year. It won't be in New York, number 1. And number 2, the number 1 draft pick, the expected number 1 draft pick, Janice Winston, will not be in attendance tonight. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers already have mentioned they will take Winston. That's your sports for this Thursday afternoon. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of us at KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only community TV station. And stay with us. Following the news tonight, we'll have Al Huey and Robert Iron with Jim Sanders.